2,000 years ago, 5,000 Roman soldiers marched into the wilderness of northern Britain, and history never saw them again. No survivors, no battlefield, no official defeat, no explanation. Just absence. Their armor didn't return, their banners didn't return, their commanders didn't return. Even their names slowly disappeared from Roman records, as if someone or something reached into history and erased them. They were called Legio Nona Hispana, the 9th Legion. One of the most disciplined, most experienced, most feared military units the ancient world had ever seen. And whatever happened to them was so disturbing that Rome itself chose silence. Because empires record victories, they record defeats. They don't record vanishings, unless the truth is worse than defeat. To understand how unnatural this disappearance is, you have to understand what a Roman legion truly was. A legion was not just soldiers. It was a machine of control. Engineers who could build a fortress overnight, blacksmiths who forged weapons non-stop, medics who stitched men back together, surveyors who mapped every river and valley, standard-bearers who carried Rome's identity into enemy lands. Each legion was 5,000 men, 5,000 bodies, 5,000 minds trained to move as one. And the 9th Legion was elite. They had crushed rebellions in Spain, survived the chaos of Roman civil wars, fought under Julius Caesar himself. They were veterans, not expendable troops, not inexperienced recruits. Which makes their disappearance feel less like a battle and more like an execution. Britain was not like the rest of the empire. It was colder, darker, wetter. A land of endless fog, thick forests that swallowed sound, swamps that pulled horses under, hills that blocked signals and scouts. The northern tribes, the Caledonians, did not fight Rome head-on. They watched, they waited, they learned Roman routes, they memorized patrol patterns. Roman scouts wrote about unexplained horns at night, footsteps outside camps with no visible enemy, shadows moving between trees, sentries who never returned to their posts. The land itself felt hostile. And in the year 108 AD, the 9th Legion was ordered north to crush rebellion, to secure the frontier, to push Rome's borders into the unknown. They marched out of Eboracum, modern York, and from that moment forward, history goes dark. One Roman scout, a man named Aelius, left behind a short wax tablet message. It's fragmentary, damaged, half erased by moisture. But what remains is disturbing. I hear them in the trees, not voices, not animals, footsteps, circling. The fog won't lift. It feels like the land is breathing. The men are afraid to sleep, even the veterans. Something is wrong here. There is no record of what happened to Aelius. No burial, no promotion, no punishment, just silence. and his message ends mid-sentence. Imagine the march. 5,000 men moving through narrow roads, armor clanking, leather creaking, breath visible in cold air. The forests closed in. The sky stayed gray for days. The fog never lifted. Scouts reported disturbing details, tracks that ended suddenly, campfires seen on distant hills that vanished by morning, strange silence where birds should have been. Veterans began whispering that the land felt cursed, that something was watching them, that they were being herded, not guided. Night watch logs later described men refusing to sleep, horses panicking without reason, drums echoing from deep in the forest. Still, Rome does not turn back. The column marched deeper into the unknown. The last night before the Ninth Legion vanished, the camp was unusually quiet. No laughter, no dice games, no singing. Only wind and the slow crackle of dying fires. Night watch logs mention something strange. Multiple sentries reported seeing figures at the edge of the fog, not attacking, not approaching, just standing there, watching. One centurion ordered a patrol. The patrol never returned. At midnight, a horn was heard from the forest. Not Roman, not tribal, something deeper, lower. Men woke up screaming from nightmares of being buried alive. Horses broke their tethers, supply mules ran into the dark. And then, silence. No recorded battle, no alarm horns, just nothing. Here's where the story becomes deeply unsettling. Roman bureaucracy was obsessive. Every legion sent reports. Daily logs, supply requests, casualty numbers, weather conditions. The Ninth Legion's records suddenly stop. Not gradually, not after a final battle, just stop. One day they're writing, the next day, nothing. Other legions were sent north to investigate. What they found was worse than a battlefield. Abandoned camps, cold fire pits, half-packed tents, scattered shields and helmets, food still rotting in cooking pots, but no bodies, no blood, no mass graves. What makes this case truly disturbing is not what we know, it's what we don't. There are no Roman victory monuments, no enemy boasts, no captured standards. It's as if both sides decided never to speak about it. And in history, when everyone stays silent, it usually means something went very wrong. Rome always recorded defeats, even humiliating ones. And Rome never rebuilt the Ninth Legion. The first theory is violent, that the Ninth Legion was ambushed and annihilated. The Caledonians were masters of guerrilla warfare. Some historians believe the legion entered a narrow valley, where thousands of tribal warriors descended from the hills. Spears, axes, slings, a massacre. But something doesn't fit. Rome always recorded defeats, even humiliating ones. And Rome never rebuilt the Ninth Legion, which suggests something worse than defeat. It suggests there were no survivors, No prisoners, no witnesses, only disappearance. The second theory is darker, that the Ninth Legion didn't fall to barbarians. They rebelled. Some believe they refused orders, declared loyalty to a rival emperor, tried to form their own power base in Britain. Rome's response would have been merciless. Because in Rome, rebellion was worse than death. This would explain why their name vanished from inscriptions, why their symbols disappeared, why their history was wiped clean. And then, there's the theory nobody wants to say out loud. Ancient tribal legends speak of a night of unnatural fog, a sound like thunder rolling through the hills, a metal army swallowed by the earth. Some stories say Roman soldiers followed strange lights into the forest. Others claim the ground opened beneath them. Roman troops later refused to camp in that region. They said the air felt heavy, no birds sang, their horses panicked, men had nightmares just sleeping there. The truth is, we don't know what happened to the Ninth Legion, and that should terrify us. Because empires collapse, armies lose battles, but armies don't just vanish. Not without a trace, not without a story, unless someone made sure no story survived. Somewhere beneath the misty hills of Britain, there may still be rusted swords, broken shields, and the bones of 5,000 forgotten soldiers. But here's the most disturbing part. No major excavation has ever been allowed in the suspected area. No full investigation, no final answer, because maybe the Ninth Legion didn't just disappear. Maybe they were meant to stay lost, because if we ever find out what really happened to them, we might realize it wasn't just history that erased them. It was fear. And if history can erase 5,000 trained soldiers, what else has it erased? And what is still waiting to be remembered?